Hi, Jill. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are ready for a great weekend. And I am so excited for you to get this makeup in your hands. It is going to be such a game changer, and it's also a lot of fun to play with. So I'm going to go over the colors that I put in your palette just so that you know the colors that I chose, why I chose them, and then once your makeup comes in, we will go over how to apply during a one-on-one if you'd like to. You don't have to if you are just ready to dig in and you feel like you've got it down, then by all means you are more than free to do that, but I always like to offer that one-on-one on a FaceTime or Zoom just in case you want some extra help, some extra tips. So I will go ahead and preface everything before we get started by saying that you do not have to have everything that is in your palette. So when you click on this link, it carries you to your personalized palette that I created for you. And so you can take things out, you can swap the colors around. I basically just want you to make it your own, and I want you to love the colors that are in your palette. So just based on your personal preference, again, you can swap those around if you want to. I did start you out with a size 12 palette, so if you wanted to go down to a size 8, which is a little smaller, you can, but some of the colors that are in your palette right now will be automatically taken out if you do that. If you go to a larger size, you'll obviously have a lot more room to grow later on down the road. And designs. You can also change the design of your palette as well. So there's a few that you can choose from. They're all gorgeous, so take your pick, but let's get started with your color. So as you know, everything that you need for your entire face is in this one palette. So you are going to have your 3D foundation shades along with your blush colors and your lip colors, eyeshadows, all of the goodness. So the only colors that you do not want to change are going to be the first three that we go over, and those are your 3D foundation shades. So the first color in your 3D foundation is Sunlit. This is one of your two highlight colors. This is a brightening highlight, so it's like your concealer. It's going to go underneath your eye area, down your T-zone, really just to brighten your face and draw more attention to the center of your face. The second color is Amber, and this is your second highlight color, but this is your main highlight. So it matches the main area of your face. So this will go anywhere you don't have your brightener or your contour. Again, kind of think paint by numbers, right? And then the last color in your 3D foundation is Henna, and this is going to go in your cheekbone area, across the top of your forehead, basically just to create some shadow and dimension on your face. So those are the only three colors that you don't want to change. Everything else after this, feel free, again, to make it your own. If you are not a huge fan of the colors that I chose, then you can swap them around. I am going to include these swatches for your these lip and cheek colors here, the next three shades, so that you can see what they look like swatched on your skin. Because two of them, Desert Sunset and Frenchie, look very similar when they're in the tins, but they are a little bit different once you put them on your skin. So take a look at those swatches and see what you think. Again, you don't have to have all of these, so if you just want to grab one, that's perfectly fine. Just tap on the color that you do not want, and you can press remove item. If you want to grab all three, that's fine too. Again, whatever floats your boat. So the first color in your lip and cheek shades is Desert Sunset. It is one of my absolute favorites because it's more of a neutral tone that you can wear every day, and it goes with any color outfit that you wear, and pretty much goes with any type of eyeshadow color that you're wearing. So I really love it. It's definitely a fan favorite. The next color is Frenchie, and if you are anything like me and sometimes you don't get enough sleep at night, or you wake up with dark circles underneath your eyes, Frenchie is probably the most versatile lip and cheek shade because you can also use it to tap underneath your eyes to help cancel out any dark circles. So you can use it on your cheeks as a blush, on your lips as a lip color, or as a color corrector, which I just find amazing. So, and if that's something you want to learn how to do, it's super easy and I can show you how to do that. But either way, you've got that color as a lip and cheek option. And then last but not least is one of Lauren's favorites, which is Tropicana. This is also one of my favorites, especially going into the spring and summer. And it's more of, let's see, how would you describe it? I'd say like a semi-gloss, which is really beautiful regardless of the skin type that you have as a blush. It's not going to be super pigmented, so you can start very light and subtle, and then you can build it up with more color and more pigmentation if you want to. So again, definitely one of my favorites going into the spring and summer. The next layer in your palette is going to have a few little extras that I always like to recommend because these are some things that I use on an everyday basis. The first is my Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I would say that with anyone who has dry skin, or if you have any areas under your eyes that you struggle with making sure that your makeup doesn't look cakey, or that it doesn't, fall into your creases or anything, Vanilla Dust setting powder is wonderful to set your under eye area with because it's not heavy, it's very lightweight, and it's finely milled. So it's not going to look cakey when you apply it, and it's going to set your makeup just enough that it doesn't move throughout the day and you still have that natural look that you're going for. So I always love recommending this. Next up is Bella Bronzer, and this is a little bit different than your contour that we looked at on the first layer. This is going to just be dusted, and when I say dusted, this is still a cream, but you're just going to put a little bit on the areas where you would naturally get a little bit of sun. So on the tops of your cheeks, maybe a little bit across the top of your forehead, but it just adds a little bit of extra warmth to your skin. And in my opinion, it just gives me a little bit of life. Some days you're like, oh man, like I need to pick me up. Bella Bronzer is my pick-me-up. So this is one of my favorites. If you want a color that's a little bit lighter, you can definitely do that. Tan Lines is going to be a step down from Bella Bronzer. I find that Palm is a little too orangey. I don't want to say orange. It's not orange. I find that Tan Lines complements skin tones better if you want something lighter than Bella Bronzer. But Bella Bronzer is definitely my go-to. It's like a middle of the road, perfect shade. And you saw how I applied. You just tap the tiniest bit and you get enough for your whole face. Next up is your illuminator, and this is like a highlighter in the makeup world. So I like to just take my ring finger and I tap it on the very tops of my cheeks. And what it does is it creates a nice little lit from within type of glow to your face. And this is something I for sure use every single day. This is a cream and it's subtle, but it adds a little extra something like, wow, like there's a little something about her, like it glows, but it's not like a shiny finish, you know what I mean? Like it's not glittery or anything like that. But honey, I thought would complement your skin tone beautifully, so I wanted to add that to your palette. There are some other options, so I would personally stick with the creams, which are Pearl all the way down to Glow. So if you didn't go with honey, Pearl is another good one, Angel, Rose Gold. I named almost all of them just then, but they're all wonderful. I would say that you would probably like Pearl or Rose Gold if you didn't go with honey. So last but not least are eyeshadows, and it was so difficult for me to only choose 6 eyeshadows. I chose 3 mattes and I chose 3 shimmers because I personally think that shimmers look good on any and every person as long as you apply it correctly, right? So you don't want to put a ton of shimmer up underneath your brow bone, right? But it's really beautiful to add a little pop on your eyelids, again, as long as you just tap it in the right area. So the 3 shimmers that I chose were Sabrina. And these now, once we've gotten into our eyeshadows, are all going to be powders. So Sabrina is a nice off-white, and it's a very subtle shimmer. So again, all of Saint's eyeshadows are extremely high quality. They're very pigmented, like a velvety smooth finish. And so Sabrina they're not like a chunky glitter by any means. It's a really beautiful, smooth shimmer that you can just tap with your finger on your eyelid if you want to wake your eyes up a little bit. Next up is Soulmate. I know that you said you liked pinks and browns, and Soulmate is one of my favorite pink tones in my entire palette. There are some others, and I'm gonna share those with you too, but Soulmate is by far one of my favorite colors. I have not run out of it yet. It is the one color that I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of first, but in a year of wearing this makeup, I still have not run out, which I'm so surprised, but that just goes to show how great the makeup is. Next up is You Complete Me. It's a little bit darker, obviously, than Soulmate, and I like to just tap it. I keep all of my shimmers on my lid, and, you can wear these colors, just one shimmer. You can do a couple of them and kind of play around with the colors and combining them, but they're so much fun, and You Complete Me, I thought, would really bring out that color in your eyes. The 3 matte shades that I chose are 3 really great everyday colors that you can use. So one is Bubba. It is the perfect everyday brown. It's not too dark, it's not too light, it's not too cool, it's not too warm. It's one of my favorites. And I also think the name is just too cute, right? And I just take my eyeshadow brush and I just swatch it in my crease. The next color is Lullaby. Again, I thought this color would really bring out your eyes. And it leans a little more purple, but I still consider it a neutral tone because it's not so purple that you'd be like, oh my God, she has purple eyeshadow on today. It's just a little subtle hint of color that adds a little extra something than just wearing a brown eyeshadow every day or, a gray eyeshadow every day. So next up is Claire, and this looks orange here in the video, but it is a little more of a dusty rose, and I actually think I used this color in my eyeshadow tutorial that I did on Thursday. And this is another one of those pink tones, but again, it's like a really beautiful, like dusty rose shade that can be worn every day if you want to. And I just find it so beautiful when you mix it. Like, wear it by itself if you want to, but it's so beautiful mixed with Lullaby, or you can mix it with Bubba, and it's just phenomenal combination. So those are your eyeshadows. And that's actually all of your your palette. So the only other thing that you would want to grab is a brush. So if you go up to the top where it says menu, or where the menu is, you can click on brushes and tools. And I, for one, always recommend the blush and bronzer brush, which is the bottom right here, because you can apply all of your colors with this brush. You can blend with this brush. Like Lauren said in one of our lives, it's like her workhorse brush. So this is what I always recommend for my ladies to start off with. If you wanted to grab a second brush, I would 100% go with the detail brush because it's really great for your contour, but you also have that tiny end at the top, which is wonderful for your under eye area and any of those hard to reach spots. So those 2 are my jam. I love them so much. If you don't have a powder brush that you really like, Saint's powder brush is wonderful, and it picks up just the right amount of product, in my opinion. And all the brushes are double-ended, so you basically get 2 for the price of 1. If you have any questions about the other brushes, feel free to ask me, but I don't want to overwhelm you by any means. The brush cleaner is also really great. You basically just take your brush cleaner, spritz it on a towel, throw your brushes until they're clean, and then they're ready to go. You don't have to wet your brushes and wait for them to dry. And it also smells really great. So if you don't have a brush cleaner, this is great. I actually clean my brushes once a week because of this brush cleaner, and I like knowing that I don't have to wet my brushes, because sometimes I find that when you do that, especially if you're doing it weekly, I feel sometimes that a bacteria can just like settle and grow in the dense part of the brushes. Anyways, all that to say, the blush and bronzer brush is my go-to, and if you want another one, the detail brush is great. There is an eyeshadow brush, which is one of the items that is up for grabs right now in our giveaway. And if you go up to the top where it says collections and you tap on that, you can actually get the bronzer collection, which has that blush and bronzer brush and your bronzer bundled together. So you save around $10 or so. Just pay attention to the color that is selected at the bottom. So if you decide you want to grab the Bella bronzer, just be sure to change that color. There is a powder collection too that has that powder brush and the vanilla dust setting powder, but just take a look. If you want to add one of those collections to save a little money, you can. But when you press the back button to go back to your palette, let's say for example that you get the bronzer collection and add it to your bag, just be sure to click on this Bella bronzer and remove it from your palette so that you don't end up with two Bella bronzers. Same thing if you get the powder collection, just tap on that, remove it from your palette so you don't end up with two. But if you have any questions, obviously please let me know. I am more than happy to help. And if this was a lot, which sometimes I know going over all of this can be a lot. I know you said that you like a light coverage, I believe, for the most part, which is wonderful. You can definitely get a light coverage with this makeup, which is I love. You can also get medium or full if that's what you want. So, depending on the day, if you want to switch it up, you can do that. But if you have any questions, let me know. Or Lauren, she's also really great at kind of navigating around the website. But if there's anything that you want to take out, feel free to go ahead and take it out. I want to make sure that you love it and that it fits within your budget and that you feel great about everything that you got once it comes in. If there's a color that you pick out and you don't like, there is a 30-day return policy, so you can send that back, no questions asked, or you can swap it out for another color. So I cannot wait to see you in this makeup. I'm excited to see what colors you choose. If you do decide that you want to switch up your eyeshadows, they are here, and there are so many to choose from. If you want any of my other favorites, please let me know, and I am happy to share those with you. So I will talk to you soon. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much again for joining our class. I have had the absolute best time.